Hey, this is Coach Roseanne here, and I'm very excited to let you know that we're going to be opening up the doors to Hey Sugar at the end of February 2024. Now, I'm very excited to let you know that Hey Sugar Transformation Program is a program that helps women lose weight without dieting. It is our signature program, and we specifically talk about three main things. We focus on mindset, we focus on nutrition, and we focus on movement. Now, inside Hey Sugar, within the first 6 weeks, our promise is you could lose up to a dress size in those 6 weeks without dieting, without eliminating carbs, without restriction. And the best part about this program is we're going to give you principles that are time tested and principles that you're going to use long after the 6 weeks are over. And this is what makes this program sustainable. And so if you're interested in joining that program, I'm going to be attaching the waitlist below here for you to join and be in the waiting list so that the minute we open up the doors, you are going to be alerted. So we're going to be putting the waiting list below, and I cannot wait to see you on the other side.
Hi, I'm your host, Roseanne Kamau, a certified nutrition coach with a background in psychology. Here on Hey Sugar Podcast, you will learn how to live a healthy and sustainable lifestyle without dieting. I'll be teaching you practical tips that you can incorporate in your unique lifestyle. I am going to help you break any dieting mindset traps and show you that a healthy and sustainable lifestyle is doable. I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to keep it real. Now, you see, I was once overweight, I was once medically obese and had a diagnosis of high cholesterol. I've been able to keep my weight off and keep my cholesterol numbers to a healthy range for over the past 15 years. So if you're ready to change your life for good and create a healthy and sustainable lifestyle for yourself, then this is for you. Let's go.
Hey Sugar, now today we're going to talk about something that no one talks about. At least I do not find enough people talking about this. When you are dieting, what do you lose? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Have you ever thought about it? What do you lose when you decide to go on a diet? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, because I feel and I know it is something that a lot of women do not think about when they are deciding they are going on a diet to help them lose some weight. And if you do not think through the entire process and don't think through what exactly, not only are the action steps that you're going to be taking, which is what a lot of us tend to focus on. What foods am I going to be eating? What am I being told to eliminate? What exercises will I do? A lot of people do not factor in your mind, and you do not factor in the following things that I'm going to be sharing with you. And at least I feel not enough of us are talking about it, so I might as well just share with you what are the things I feel people were not talking about that absolutely affect the sustainability of whatever program or whatever thing it is that you're going to do. Number one, no one talks about the peace that is lost. No one talks about the peace of mind. No one talks about the constant worrying about if you're actually going to follow through on the plan. No one talks about the constant worrying about if you're going to be able to actually eat the foods that you've been told to eat. No one thinks about, actually, can I be able to sustain this rigorous workout? No one thinks about, can I be able to eat with my family? Notice what's happening now is you're losing your peace of mind. You're not peaceful. And so what happens in that moment is when you're not peaceful, when you're not in a place of zen, a place of calm, you do not make the right choices in that moment because your mind's not peaceful. Your being is not peaceful. And that constant worrying of strict dieting, that constant worrying of eliminating your favorite foods, that constant worrying of being on the edge, guess what's happening? You're losing your peace of mind. And this is something that most of us don't think about when we decide the plan that we're going to start on. And so I want you to start asking yourself, if I do XYZ, whatever plan that is, will I lose my peace of mind in the process? Instead, what I encourage you to do is really think it through and ask yourself, will I be able to eat the foods that I want? Will I be able to sustain this workout program? Will I be able to make it a long term and a sustainable lifelong process. So think about the peace when you're thinking about whatever diet it is that you want to start. That's one. Second, no one thinks about joy. No one thinks about what we go through when you're told to restrict yourself. I remember when one coach told me I couldn't eat chapati. Chapati is like roti. It's like it's this fried dough. It's just yummy. It's just yummy. And when he told me that, I mean, there was like sadness on the inside. Like, how am I gonna live? I mean, I know I want to lose weight, but am I really not eating chapati? Is this going to be the lifestyle that I'm gonna be living? And so folks don't think through about the joy that you actually lose, the impact that it has on your lifestyle when you are living this strict lifestyle of not eating some of your favorite foods. This strict lifestyle of only eating the foods that you eat and your family is eating separate foods. The joy that you're not getting when you're eating separately. Your family is there eating, and you can't even enjoy the same foods that they're eating because you've been told not to eat those foods. Or you've been told to do some exercises or some form of movement that you don't enjoy. And they've told you maybe that if you do not follow this, you'll never get to where you need to get to. All lies. So I really want you to consider, what is the joy that you're losing when you hop on a diet? I also want you to consider presence with family. I want you to consider what happens when you're not present. I want you to consider when you're separating yourselves, when you're cooking two different meals, when you're eating at different times, when you have to follow a rigid schedule, when your family is going out and you can't go out with them because you don't want to mess up the lifestyle that you're living. You don't want to mess up the food. You don't want to mess up. Think about it, that you're no longer spending time with family. You're no longer spending time with loved ones, with your friends. If, let's say, Friday was a time that you would hang out with your friends, and maybe this was also a time that just brought you life, because there's also the hangouts that people go to, and they're not very helpful. Okay, so we really have to distinguish the two. So I want you to imagine what happens when you're not being present with maybe something that brings you life, brings you joy. Really consider that when you're considering the type of lifestyle that you're living and the lifestyle that you're going to be living when you start a diet. Something else that a lot of people don't think about is we don't think about the anxiety levels. In fact, I have so many clients that I've worked with, and really their relationship with food started getting messed up when they started going on diets. The anxiety levels just hit the roof, something they never even experienced before. They would just see foods. I mean, how many of you have said this? Listen, I look at a cake and I gain 5 kilos just by looking at the cake, right? How many of you have been on those strict diets and they've been so strict that, man, you sit down in bed, you can't even sleep because all you're doing is you're thinking about food. You're not even living a normal life. You're not being present. Anytime you hear that you gotta go out to a function or you hear there are guests coming over, your anxiety hits the roof because, not so sure what I'm gonna do around this food. I'm not so sure if I can be able to sit and not drink an entire bottle of wine. I'm not so sure I could be able to eat a piece of cake and not finish the entire cake. This is anxiety. And if we live in that state of anxiety, for a lot of people, remember, what you focus on grows. If you focus on that level of anxiety and the foods, guess what you're going to do? You're going to give in. You will give in. And so I really want you to think about these things as you're thinking about the nutrition lifestyle you want to live, the lifestyle you want to live. These are things that a lot of people do not talk about. And these are things that I know affect people. And they affect us in the quietness of our homes and in our offices. Even with that anxiety, for some of us, when we're put on those strict diets, we find ourselves binge eating because we've been told to eliminate certain foods. We may even start terrible behaviors where we are now hiding, we're eating at night, we're maybe hiding food in the kitchen, in our offices, in the car. You're probably going to eat on your way to work. Notice those behaviors that jump up as a result of trying to get to a solution, but the path through which you're going at it is a path that is now beginning to raise up all these other internal issues, the unseen issues. So your anxiety goes up. You're not able to spend time with the things that you love to do. You're probably telling yourself, I can't do XYZ because let's say it's tennis. And maybe in the past, when you go for tennis, there's a place where you would stop by and you would go maybe have a drink, or maybe after tennis, you would have a drink. And now you've made an association in your brain where, man, I can't even go do this tennis because I'm not gonna want to go and eat, or I feel like I must go to eat and I have no control over the foods that I'm gonna eat. So you really need to think about that. So you find yourself not doing the things you love to do because they're going to stop you from, because you feel like there's an association with food. You feel like if it's that tennis, I always used to go and get, I don't know, some sandwiches at a certain store, and now I can't be able to do that. So really consider that, what you lose. Social outings, hanging out with your friends, we've talked about that. And then finally, who you are as a person, the things you love. Have you lost that as a person because you're trying to lose weight? Have you lost your joy? Have you lost your own excitement of being who you are? Have you lost the essence of you because you're here trying to lose weight? Sometimes, and in fact, not sometimes, the biggest misconception when we are trying to lose weight, and I've seen a lot of women struggle with this, is we put so much value and weight in how we look to the point where we completely forget who we are. We forget the things that bring us joy. We are hammering down and beating ourselves down because we don't like the way we look. And so we give our body this great priority over the things that you love, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing, whether it's hanging out, whether it's walking. We lose that. And for a lot of people in the journey of trying to lose weight, we don't consider the things that you're going to be losing along the journey. And this life is to be lived. If you have gained some weight, definitely try to figure what to do to lose that weight, for sure. But it doesn't have to be detrimental to you living life. It doesn't have to be detrimental to you doing the things that you know God's called you to do. It doesn't have to be detrimental to your relationships with your kids, detrimental to your relationship with your friends. It doesn't have to be detrimental to your relationship with your husband. It does not have to be detrimental. And so I want you to ask yourself these questions. As you are on your journey to losing weight, are you losing yourself? And if the answer is yes, really consider a 360, because the essence of you is needed. The essence of the person that you are is needed. We want you. We want your joy. We want your spark. We want your stories. We want you to become alive again, but do not allow your body to dictate how you show up. And at the same time, do not allow your body to make you lose your peace, your joy, your friendships, your family, your relationships, etc. I hope this has been a helpful episode. Thank you for joining me. And as always, remember, you've got one life, you've got one body, and I want you to treasure it.